still here, man. Nope. It's not gonna work. Yeah, go back.
Alright, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I got about 4,200, 4,300 miles-ish on the Jeep. Today I want to talk about trail damage. I haven't done a trail damage video yet. I've gotten a lot of requests, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious about how much damage gets done. When I started modifying the Jeep, I did the metal cloak skid plates on purpose, and I also ordered the steel bumper group on purpose because I knew I was going to be pushing the limits of the Jeep. So as far as the trails in Sand Hollow go, I've pretty much done all the trails up to the rating of 7 and a little bit of the 8s. I haven't done 777s yet. I've only done the first part of Faulty Tower. So as far as the Jeep goes, it's performed basically flawlessly. So I haven't had any breakdowns. I haven't broken any of the drivetrain. It hasn't left me stranded or anything like that, or had to be towed out of anywhere. So with all the pushing I've done, a little bit of Moab, I mean, I am fairly careful. It doesn't look like it on the videos, but I'm pretty conservative. I don't get crazy or try to, you know, hop or spin or put a lot of stress on the drivetrain, only as much as I need to. So sometimes I get myself in situations, but I try to manage and get out of them with as little as damage as I can get. That being said, there is damage. The damage is pretty much relegated to skid plates, bumpers, and maybe some fender stuff, rubbing fender stuff. So let's just do a walk around real quick. I'll go around and show you everything from the top, and then we'll jack her up and slide underneath and check everything out from the bottom. All right, so as far as paint, the only damage that I have to the paint is from the bumper. So there is a little bit of, right here in the corners of the bumper, which everybody kind of knows about already. There's a little bit on this side, there's a little bit where the bumper gets pushed into the body. So every time you come down on a rock, there's just some flex in this steel bumper group. So this is the other side. So you can kind of see that this one goes a little bit deeper. So there's that. As far as any of the actual green paint or the hard top, there is no damage. Even on the sliders, you can see pretty much still have all the gap in the slider, so hasn't been too bad. There is already some rock chips in the grill from our trips, so that's kind of interesting. The first damage that we got was when we drove it home from the dealership. What's this fender liner got pulled into the tire and got torn off. So I showed you that in the air compressor install video. Next I would say would be bumpers, right? So bumpers, all these plastics in the front of the bumpers I've been into. And you can see also scuffing paint underneath on the skid plates. So if you check under here, you'll see multiple times I've been into the bumpers and the plastics. So missing a little rivet there on the plastic, a plastic rivet. So this front bumper on Bazackwards trail, I caught that front bumper right there. Sorry, these are fenders. So fender damage. I've caught this one a couple times coming up a rock or two, which is just really minor stuff. This is why I got the plastic bumper or fenders, because I didn't want the painted ones. This was Western Trail with one of the groups. Me and another Jeep got into the corner right there, so I've got matching rash from someone. Other side, this side really doesn't have anything except for maybe a little bit on the bottom right here on this fender, and then on this fender it's been pretty good. So there's really nothing on this fender. Oh, I got the front a little bit here. This was on Milt's Mile, so I got a little bit of a scuff right there on Milt's Mile. So that pretty much covers the body. Wheels and tires, or wheels I should say. Each one of my wheels has some rash on it. So the thing about these Icon Rebound Pros is that they don't have the bead lock rings on them like regular bead locks. So anytime you get into a rock, it's on the actual wheel. So it's not like you can replace the rings and make them look new. I do have a solution that I do for that, which I'll show you here at the end of the video. Here's this wheel over here. Kind of the passenger side gets it worse than the other side, so this one's been worn in pretty good. So you can see, get you close up there, how much they take. This is the passenger front, and it gets a little bit of damage too. Right there was a good one that I got into. So, but overall, I mean, that's held up pretty good. And there's really no other damage besides that on the body or the outside that you can see. Everything else is pretty much relegated to underneath. I'm also going to put a link in the video to the playlist for all the sand hollow runs that I've done, so you can kind of see if you want to check out some of the videos that I've ran, and you can see where I've got into things. So you can pretty much see, I think almost everything for the most part has been on video. Rear bumper, I didn't cover the rear bumper yet. So this corner takes quite a bit of hits. It's always the passenger side, it seems like, but it's been painted a few times. I've touched it up, so I just don't like seeing bare metal. So a couple hits there, a little bit of a bend to my receiver hitch there, but I usually, you know, we hit that a lot. The tow hook takes a lot. Tow hook hits a lot. A little bit of license plate damage, but I haven't peeled off the license plate yet, so that's good. And then this side bumper takes a little bit of hits too, but I think because I can see it out of the mirror and I can kind of plan for coming down off of obstacles, I don't hit that as much. So anyways, that's the outside. Let's take a look at the underneath. All right, let's climb underneath and check this out. Front diff, I have hit it a couple times, but not enough to, I mean, I haven't ground down any bolts or anything like that. Everything looks pretty good on the front diff. As far as the steering stuff goes, there's a little bit of rash on this bar, not too much. Everything else is pretty well protected. Lower control arms, there's a little bit of, I've gotten into it a couple of times. Just a little bit, not nothing major though. And then working back from there are the rear mounts, which I have gotten into a little bit. And over here a little bit, so not too bad. And then we could talk skid plates. So nothing up here under the motor, everything's pretty good under the engine, but there starts to get some scuffs right here, and then significant scuffs. But these things are rock solid, like they have held up through everything. As far as the frame goes, there's a couple, I mean, minor stuff I probably need to touch up actually, so I'll probably end up touching some of that up here, just wiping it down a little bit and spraying it. That's the driver's side. Passenger side frame, really haven't got into that much at all. So right past there where the skid plates are, significant rub right there, but like I said, pretty flawless. Everything's held up great. moving back from there on the rear frame back there and the rock rails. So let's take a look at the rear frame and rock rails. Hold on a second. All right, so rock slider, pretty much been pretty flawless. I mean, they're not touching the, no, it looks close, but they're not touching, you can almost not see it in the camera, but there's a gap all the way down. So I haven't used as much slider as I thought. You hit the skid plates before you hit the sliders usually. So just certain obstacles. Pretty much nothing up here. Sorry, it's dirty. I thought I cleaned it, but it's not good enough. And then I start back here where I start sliding on rocks. And there is some scuffing on the frame on this side. So, and I'm pretty sure that was either Double Sammy or Milt Smile would have done that too, which I've been on multiple times. So that's a spot where it takes hits. But I mean, it's the frame. You can sand it down and paint it if you're worried about it, if you're in a place where there's a lot of rust. Luckily here we don't have to worry too much about rust. Here's the e-torque stuff, skid plate. It's pretty much scuffed all the way down, almost all the way. So trolling arm, control arm here, mount gets hit every once in a while, and then there's a couple hits on the shock mount. I try to avoid that as much as possible. It's usually when I slip off a rock or something like that and it rolls, or the Jeep shifts on me, and I'm pretty sure that's when I tag a rock, usually when I'm up on a rock and it just comes straight down on it. So I've tried to avoid that as much as possible, but can't always avoid it. So that's okay. Slider on the passenger side is pretty good up to the midpoint, and then back here we've taken some hits and had to slide a little bit on them. So, and again, these are still factory sliders, so they're just body mounted. They're not special frame mounted or anything like that. I haven't gone there yet. I don't think I'm gonna do that till I go bigger tires. So gas tank skid plate here, you can see has been hit quite often. There's a lot of scraping all the way down, but frame has been protected. Everything's been pretty good. So just before I went out on, well, right after I did the air compressor install, I checked everything for tightness, and I did hear on the trail some people having problems with their calipers, their brake calipers and things like that. And I've checked everything and nothing's loose. Nothing's loose on the suspension. Nothing even took a snug or tightening or anything like that. So it seems like, you know, overall, I mean, how can I complain with what I've put this thing through, right? So I have no complaints as far as how this thing's holding up. I mean, for what I put it through, it's crazy. So as far as what I was saying earlier about how I manage some of the cosmetic metal scraping, bare metal stuff, I just have the, what's called, it's just a satin paint, black satin, that I picked up at AutoZone, or I can't remember exactly where. It's roll bar and chassis paint. So high temperature roll bar chassis paint, so you don't need any primer with this. So basically I just clean everything off real good. If I feel like I gotta hit it with a little bit of sandpaper, I do, and then I just basically just give it a little, you know, protect the paint, of course, so you're not overspraying onto your paint, but I just basically touch up all the little scrapes, and that's how I've been taking care of the bumpers and the front skid plate, which is pretty much all you can see from the outside. I could probably use some touch up under in the frame just in case I get up north where we have salt on the roads and stuff like that, to avoid some of the rust with the frame. So it probably wouldn't hurt for me to go through that every, you know, 30 days or so and make sure I'm keeping the frame touched up. Other than that, there's not much more to really say. Inside, obviously, there's nothing really to talk about. We keep it pretty clean. I try to clean it up after every time I take it out for the weekend or whatever. So I'll wipe everything down, get everything cleaned up. Pretty much no damage inside. Inside looks great, just needs a wipe down every once in a while. So after 4 months of ownership and 4,200 to 300 miles, and probably at least 1,000 of that, or close to 1,000 of it on trails and trips for four-wheeling, pretty impressed. Like, durability wise, I can't complain. It hasn't given me a lick of problems. Oh, one more thing I was going to look at is because there's a lot of problems I've been seeing on, there's some posts about the FAD, so the front axle disconnect, getting cracks and worn and breaking. So that is right here. So you can see right here, it goes into the thing. I don't see anything abnormal right here. Sometimes this housing cracks. I don't see anything on this housing that's got me concerned. And then on this other side of it, hopefully you can see, if you can see this side of it, there doesn't seem to be anything to be concerned about. I'm not sure what the failures were about, and if maybe they fixed it on the 21s. I don't think they've changed anything, so I'm still kind of wary about it. But it seems to me like it's holding up. So the only other thing I can say on that is, I'm just going to keep my eye on it. I mean, once I go bigger tires, I'm going to upgrade the axles because I'm just going to get ahead of that. So by that point, I won't be able to call it stock suspension anymore. So I don't think it's going to matter how much I upgrade. And I don't know how long that's going to be. Maybe that'll fail before I replace them. I don't know. So obviously, if it fails, I'm going to have to replace them. Hopefully you like this video. For what I've put this Jeep through, that's a pretty minor amount of damage for it to sustain, and the impressiveness of the durability of it is pretty good. So I don't know if there's anything I didn't show you that you want to see, just leave a comment and I'll tailpipe. I have hit the tailpipe a couple times. So if we look back here, it's just a little bit fragged a little right there, just a little clearanced for a little trail clearancing. Or whatever you want to call it. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for all of you that have subscribed, and it was pretty cool seeing some of you out on the trail. And just so if any of you guys are wondering, all right, so just a quick test here because I know I might get asked. This road's pretty straight. Let's see, 60 miles an hour, straight as an arrow. So don't even need an alignment after all those trails. No wobbles, no nothing. So no vibrations, no unusual sounds. So everything's perfect. I guess it's a testament to the Jeep's durability. Yo.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, video. What are you doing?
Eating a banana.
Yeah, you are. Silly face. Alright.